Okay, hello everyone. We are here today with Mr. Kevin Sandy, and I remember this word coming up called AIville. We're moving into the era of AIville, and it's interesting because Kevin Sandy has a wide range of thoughts and views on the matter. So I want to throw the ball in his court and first ask him to just explain what AI means.
Well, from an academic perspective, people think of AI as just artificial intelligence, and people look at it as robots and artificial intelligence to be able to help people figure things out faster, more effective, and of course, that's from academic perspective. Um, Also help people to get research information faster, so they have less work to do when it comes to finding information, when it comes to this getting data to make right decisions. And those decisions could be life-threatening, could be national decisions, personal decisions. Of course, the layman will look at it just as a robot, or machines learning, right? But machine learning is right because the foundation of artificial intelligence is teaching your machines to think like humans, how we figure things out, not being spoon-fed by everything, but by just given some data, humans are able to discover how to do things, how to get things done. So we are training with AI now, artificial intelligence is feeding the machines with data and then telling the data to test and try different options until you get a solution that I want. So that means the AI have to test, make mistakes, go through the process of then figuring out what works and what doesn't work. But the data we give it is from us, but it also able to manipulate the data so it can figure out what works, what doesn't work, and then come up with a solution. The reason why artificial intelligence became such a big thing is because even though we have all information, we each are individuals, and therefore, even though we might be associated with groups of people, what we know is still limited. Whereas AI will now be able to access all the information on the globe on any matter. Whereas you might know maybe 10, 50 persons on a matter, and you could ask the 50 persons, you have to sit down and communicate to those 50 persons together or individually. AI will find all the data available on the network at the same time. It could be a million different people who have shared information on the same topic, and AI will be able to access that in seconds or less than seconds, milliseconds, and then give you the information. The reason why it comes to why people value it, artificial intelligence, is because you can get access to the intelligence you need from much more people than an individual or a small group at a moment's notice. Right? That's why people value it so much.
Okay, so you're getting the intelligence through artificial means. And well, and that artificial means is, as you could say, at faster and deeper and wider in a shorter space of time. So all those things sound positive. So where might be the concerns be originating?
The concerns originate because you are asking the machine to they've moved to another level where you're not just collecting results, but you're asking. What have happened is that they've moved to another level where they're asking machines how to think or figure out how to make certain things work or how to get certain things done. And in order to program the AI to think that deep, the main issue is the heart of man. Not everyone will want the AI to figure out how to get a result that is helpful to people. So it can be used by people who have ill intention. That's the main area. And there's no way to properly judge who will use it for harmful means. So yes, if everybody had a good intention, it would be very good for only the people with good intentions to use it to get good results. But there are people who want to create harm. And that's the side of it that people need to be warned about. Not so much because it's a tool like anything else. You can use a tool for good, you can use a tool for evil, for harming others. Right? So basically that's where the warning comes in, because this tool now is so powerful, it can create more harm than other tools that we have at such a fast pace. Because you can do such good in such fast pace, people who have ill intentions could use it for harm at the same pace.
Right. So then it seems like it still, in a sense, boils down, as you say, to man, and if I may add, fallen man, or troublesome man, or sinful man. And I know one of the ways that you try to deal with the heart of man and humans operating in a society is through like laws and rules and regulations. So I don't know if you might be able to then share or suggest what sort of rules or regulations we may need to implement, especially in, let's say, a Caribbean context, to get more of the good out of AI rather than the negative fallouts from bad human intentions.
Well, that even though we have suggestions, we're still limited by the fact that we can only do so much based on what we know and what we like to do as people with good intentions. Yes, we can do a lot of things with it. Some of the things that AI allows is that it levels the playing field for everyone. So there is no person who needs to take advantage of someone else anymore based upon maybe lack of information, ignorance of something. You could find out, you as anybody else could find out what to do about any situation now. So you could find out what, if somebody is treating you correctly, what is the law? So a lot of people get taken advantage of because they don't know the law. Say, for example, a person might be on the road and a police might stop them and want to charge them for something. Using AI, that person who never went to law school, never know anything about law, could research it immediately and know if the stop was legal, and be able to share with the police verse and chapter of the law where they were wrong. That makes AI good, right? No, and that's how far you can go. And it has to do with, and that's looking at it from individuals in a difficult situation. And you could think of anything. It could be an illness, it could be an ailment at home, individual situations, it could be family life issues, it could be a disaster in the neighborhood, whatever it is. You want your family to grow a particular way, it's a good example, and the problem you're having is conflict in the home. Anybody with AI could research, how do I resolve this conflict? This is what's happening. Because AI have access to all the different social information that are being shared around the world, and asking the right questions, the person could know, could get information as to what to do to resolve their family issues, regardless of what is related to, whether it's a just personality clashing, whether it's a drug issue, whether it's a deficient addiction issue in the home, whatever it is, parent, child, they can have access to that. So it levels the playing field. Like you don't have to wait for somebody from a developed country to come and teach you something or train you in something. You could find information yourself in the Caribbean to deal with any situation. Economics, you can have your own bank. You can create your own way of investing and generating income. You don't need to depend on the bank or investor to guide you how to invest money anymore, how to generate income anymore. It gives everybody a level playing field that you could generate income as an individual in your home, on your device, with any means. You just ask the right questions and you could get directions, what to do, where to invest, how to generate income, what are the means, legal means, of course, right? So all of these things Whether it's illnesses, as I said, economics, family issues, doesn't matter what it is. It could be a situation in the community. And you could ask, how do you resolve this situation in the community? And all the different workshops and research which has been done and case studies which have done where communities have been transformed related to your situation, you could ask. Just knowing how to ask the question correctly, you can get that information from AI telling you these are things that have been done. You could let it quote statistics, give you evidence of what has been done in situations similar. So it gives that level playing field, as I said before, that everybody could solve any problem anyway that deals with physical lifestyle, right? Where the challenge is yes, AI will have all the different information that has been shared in relation to spirituality, in relation to religion. So where we talk about things like God or Jesus, which we might value, but it can show them or anybody else their information that they want on their spiritual beliefs, on their religious beliefs, whatever it is, right? So everybody can have access to any amount of information they want. We still, of course, have to decide what character we're going to be. Because at the end of the day, we have to decide, and the decision still stays with mankind. There's a level of AI where you actually train the AI to make decisions and take action when it discovers certain things. So that's something that can be done. And of course, the fear is allowing people who are harmful to program or let the AI know, I want you to take these actions or take these steps when you find such and such happening. To help us, the same way we are using it to help us make decisions or program it to make decisions for us to do certain things, we can do the same thing. I mean, others who are harmful can do the same thing to let it make harmful decisions. So both cases, to answer your question, that is, if we could go to a level of helping others, or as you say, bringing transformation so that you have more people who have ill intentions to now have helpful intentions, that's another level where we now have to learn how do we influence these people about the benefits of having helpful decisions or helpful intentions. How do we influence them? How do we persuade them? How do we do that? That's beyond. Now AI could give you some tools, it could give you some strategies and influence and persuasion and things like that, which a lot of books are out there are written on those topics. But it takes something beyond natural to change the heart of somebody.
Right.
That's beyond natural.
So then, just to put some interesting points together, some of the blame or some of the concerns that we attributing to AI itself is really concerns that we generally have for mankind and the way man operates and the way man thinks. And whether AI was present or not, that would still be a concern. So that could settle things in one way and then unsettle things in another way. Because on the other side to it, of course, it means that the ability to maybe think through something is now, as I said before, has been xed, multiplied, and that's why I had just sort of asked about maybe the legal framework in the sense that like how now that we moved from walking to from horse and buggies to vehicles, it has this mandate about insurance. So you have, and then you have mandates with respect to even seat belts. and traffic lights and zebra crossing and things like that. So then what would be some of, let's say, these seat belts and zebra crossings and traffic lights that we could have to get the best out of operating in an AI-driven environment of the future?
Right. So there are two levels of that. One is from the governmental aspect, is to only allow AIs that have what you call primary, what do they call it? Primary objectives built in as one. The primary objectives means could be a simple thing as no harm to humans. So that's from a governmental aspect, that only AIs that have that prepositioned or presupposition mandate built into it, no harm to humans built into it, only those must be released. So you could have that as a ground from a government and from national perspective, from an international perspective. That's one. The individual legal frameworks now built on that precept, which is no harm to humans, can now facilitate help in different areas. So you have the legal framework for AI that helps with natural disaster. We'll have frameworks which are built into organizations like ODPM, right? Built into it, or climate change organizations, built into the AI because it deals specifically with natural disasters. You could have AIs that people can access online to deal with personal stuff, personal investments, personal illnesses, personal research, like having your device that takes your heart pressure and your blood sugar and things like that. So you can have AI that does things like that, and built into them would be health regulations, right? What to do when this person is experiencing a particular result in 3 to 4 tests per week. They have a legal things built into it where it will call or contact the doctor to visit this person. So the person will have to really go and visit the doctor themselves or make the call, because they have been tested 3 or 4 times with in a particular range, whatever that issue is. The doctor is summoned, or whatever it is, or the AI is makes an indicator. Okay, you need to visit the doctor at so and so time. Make your appointment for you also at the same time for you, and then the office calls and say, this is so and so, you have an appointment at such and such time, we expect you, so the person have to go through all of that. The AI does that. So that's a helpful thing. But what's built into it, the legal framework, is giving the AI the authority to contact your doctor for you on your behalf. That's something that could be built in. And all different industries have different legal framework that, based upon the things which are already there, you just now give AI certain authorities to do certain things which are helpful to the person, right? And financially, that can happen. Of course, you have different countries have different financial regulations. Like we're experiencing some challenges in Trinidad and Tobago, where you could only get access to a certain amount of currency, foreign currency, and things like that. The challenge with this now is that you still, even though there's a level playing field for everyone, you can limit people's access to what they can get, what they can enjoy, what they can experience still. So even though you want to put legal framework, how much would you put? How much would you allow in the country? There are countries that don't allow some social media platforms. There are some countries that don't allow certain devices. The same way you do that, you can also allow or disallow, I should say, or prevent certain AI bots to come into your country, or your country to be able to access them, platforms, websites. You can actually block them. So those are legal things that can be done to protect your country, protect individuals. One of the things that a lot of people are not aware of is that the internet is a very huge place, huge location, and global, I should say, global location or international location. And what we enjoy, or what the normal person enjoy when they search for things, when they are using social media, when they're interacting online, even as we are talking here, all of that, billions of sites, billions of connections, is about 5% of the internet, of the size of it. It's just about 5%, where the normal person have access to, right? 93%, 94 to 93% of it is the dark web, which the normal person don't have access to. And there's a 2%, 2 to 3% that is hidden even beyond that, right? So it's a huge place. So even though we might be interacting and there might be all these legal framework from all these governments and we are trying to follow the straight and narrow and do everything legally, there is this 90-something% where people who have no good intentions operate that could be doing things that we are not aware of, they are not aware of, right? That's real. That's beyond, that's before AI. That's just the network that we're dealing with. So put AI on that. That is, and you give that in the hands of those are, so those people could be interacting with AI and programming AI and building some areas of AI. I can mention them as we go along, but certain levels of AI to operate and do certain things that we are not aware of. Right? As I said before, we had one level of operating. What this does, it gives you access to all of this global information at an instant. So it means the same thing happens in the dark web as well, where you have access to the vast set of information in the dark web instantly. And they could be like, one of the things that it also does on the other side is that there is no real privacy in real sense. Because the people in the dark web could find the things that you're trying to hide and expose you. If you become a public figure and you're playing your this and you're saying certain things, they can discover or even put together or you can fabricate things about you that are never true. So all of those things are possible, right? But the legal framework is something that could be put in place, but it's weak. Its effect may not be as strong as people think. That's a challenge behind having something like AI loose on it, or even in the hands of the wrong people. The legal framework might not necessarily be enough. I don't think it would be enough for people to keep people safe, healthy, strong, whatever it is. Right? The heart of man is the people decisions by people. I think is the only thing that could really help with this. You could do all the legal framework you want. Yeah, the things that, and I've just started. Year or so ago, even less than a year, and I'm just escalating my studies and practice and that sort of thing. But the little that I know, and from both the experts who have designed the basics of AI, who have spoken out against it, who have really left and say, hey, what, this is too dangerous, and also from the practitioners who are using it to build good things. Both sides are fruitful. And you realize, yeah, it's challenging.
Right. As I think it's encouraging some of the examples you gave in having those built-in standards, because I mean the world tries to operate with certain standards, whether it be in accounting, finance, building codes, industry, even educational standards. That's why you have like the Caribbean Examination Council. I mean, you have standards, you have the Brewer standards. So it's good to know that you can incorporate the build in certain standards into the whole AI process. What I noted also that you said that you've seen persons who have seen the potential for it and have decided this this might be too dangerous, and they made maybe a moral decision to pull out, and then it had others who seeing the best of it, and they made their own decision to stay in, and you have gotten the taste of the two. And I don't want to preempt what might be your decision, but I think I gather that is for you to continue to hear, learn, discover, delve, and most likely make the best of what is available, while at the same time knowing that uh, maybe what sometimes people try to do to make something good, the focus of trying to make something good is not the thing that you must be trying to make good, but it's the person. So I think that is some of the things I'm gathering from what you shared. Uh, I don't how has it like you talked about your journey, so you want to share a little bit more on how this journey has been, how you find your own thoughts on the matter have swung left or right as you been delving into the whole this whole new arena of
Yeah,
intelligence.
yeah, sure. Well, because I had to always stay abreast of a lot of technology because of feeling and always have to advise. One of the things is to be able to balance it with my belief in God as the ultimate source. So everything that we see, right? Ultimate source of everything, that the original of everything that was originally created. And then of course, remember what God has to say about me, people, about us, people, human beings. Those two things help me to guide. And anytime I feel overwhelmed about the issues related to any of the technologies, I go back to God and get straight. Make sure I get my head straight. Make sure I keep stable. Always have to, because it could pull you to depend on it. So when I feel, so in my journey, there are times when you feel as if you're going to be dependent on this too much. So what I do, I pull away for time and meditate and read and study and interact. Make sure intensify my interaction with my relationship with God more, so that I keep my anchor on what He has to say, not on what I'm learning. Because when you learn this, it replaces your dependence on anything else. Right? It could be an addiction. It could be an addiction, because the results are so wonderful and overwhelming. In my journey, I've experienced using AI to do research, to do books, to do even to set up a podcast that I didn't do, but the AI did it for me. I just give the AI the information in terms of the books. I did an outline of a book, put some of the information of the book in it, in the AI, and AI, two persons as AIs were communicating and discussing my book. All right, that's how far I've generated income with AI bots, trading and so forth, in income, doubling my money in, I think it was a month or less than a month, right? So that is something that has happened. So I've experienced those things, and you have to kind of balance, where do you go, how do you do it, where do you focus. And in the journey, what I wanted to start to do is to teach, train others, mentor others, how to approach this new life that is coming. One of the things also, what I'm trying to do, I haven't been successful in it yet, is trying to build businesses with AI. And that's build company with AI. Because that is, it's there. People have started, right? Yeah. Companies are built, yeah. There's a there's a pitch was I am one of the founders of one of the AI companies, and it is the kind of will be first $1 billion one company, right? This is where you go.
Could you just repeat that? I don't know if if the
Okay.
connection kind of
Okay, let
slowed
me
down. So you have
repeat it.
reached the part of the business, building a
Okay.
business through AI.
Right. So I said I built businesses with AI. I've also I'm learning how to build businesses with AI. And in the AI function, in the companies that are building businesses of some of the platform, they have this word out or competitive question as to who will be the first $1 billion one-man company, where one person owns a company, no staff, and everything is run by AI, but able to generate $1 billion. Right? Now, I've seen one company, I've started it, and they're paying for this platform all the assistance you will need to run a company. All of them are robots. All the different areas: HR, production, training, uh, customer service, search, everything, all bots. 70 different AI bots helping you to run a company. And you pay for that, and you're learning how to use each one, how to program each one to work for you. So that is something that is already there, right? So it's possible that that can be done in a few years, where you have one person running an organization and $1 billion company because of how it's done and what they're selling, what they're offering. Right? It's possible. Right? That's what's happening. What I am doing presently is I'm pursuing a master's in AI. I kind of double masters, AI and business leadership in one. Right? And that's to get all the sides and of course to sharpen my expertise so I'm aware of how to then mentor the next generation that is coming up correctly, right? While I'm doing that, I'm studying the word more in relation to what we are as human beings, what human beings are and how we are supposed to function in the midst of anything that comes, right? Because in the beginning, we were created to dominate, to rule. And that rulership, that dominance is present regardless of what is created on the planet. How do we do it? And that is what my journey is leading to. How to show them how to stay dominating, how to stay as rulers, as kings on the earth, even with the presence of AI and all that AI can do.
Right. So I kind of get it, that development of like the spirit, soul, and body, the mind, the will, the intellect, learning and growing and developing to bring out the best in you and to be able to take that and use that knowledge to mentor others.
Yeah.
And there was, it's like two sides of a coin I got when you spoke about that one-man company that making billions and, everything functioning through the different AI processes. You had that one side where, you raise the other concern of the human resource. So what happens to people? What do they do? And then I got the other side where you spoke about the fact that as people on earth, God has a purpose for us. And that purpose, in a sense, isn't lost because there's some AI to take your job. So I was wondering if you could maybe chat a little bit more about this interesting dichotomy of AI taking jobs, but yet we having a purpose.
Okay. So, well, two things can happen. One is God in his wisdom could cause it to be short circuit, and then it comes to a wonderful halt or death, right? That's the whole AI industry. That's possible. Although people have all these predictions, God could God could see beyond that and see this gonna cause something to happen that people gonna just give it up. That's one. But one of the things I always say is that I know a lot of people know already that medically speaking, people have already shown that we use less than 15% of our brain, right? And that is just our brain. That is not our mind yet. So it means it's possible to use much less of our mind. And all of that came because of the fall and sin and all of that, right? Because of what went through with mankind. What has happened with that is we have celebrated and become very impressed with mediocre. For example, we celebrate talent more than gift. And we celebrate gift more than purpose. And what has happened is that has become, those things have become glorious. When you see somebody playing an instrument or somebody doing something in sports, and we say, that person have real talent, boy. But that is minute compared to what the human being can do when you discover what human beings are, truly, right? We're doing a lot of work now in our pastors are sharing a lot of what is man, and a lot of people are not aware of the power that we have, and the capability of that power to dominate circumstances in life, issues in life. So, and he's trying to do it in the sense of showing what even the spiritual beings are shocked that why is it God going to that creature or showing up for that creature, doing certain things with that creature called man? What is that is so important about that creature that God is making certain things and sacrifices and all kind of stuff for that particular thing? What is so special? That's in the spiritual world. But we are impressed with somebody running fast and somebody playing music fast or somebody hearing and these little things, not understanding that we have the power to stop hurricanes with our speech. So when Jesus came and he started doing this thing, we are impressed. And Jesus is like, oh, that's little. Jesus, but that's little. Some of the statements, he keep making the statement, oh, ye have little faith. In other words, that is small thing, right? We haven't, so there are a lot of potential in us that we could command the AI, here was happening, I want you to do this and no more. But that has to be, the power of dominion we have has to be learned, has to be discovered by us. So that we can realize that, okay, this water that's coming, okay, it's raining too much here today, it's gonna cause, okay, rain, that's enough, you need to stop now. That's the kind of power we have, right? Now there's another part of the world where they need rain, and that person in that part will say, okay, here was that thing. It's too dry here, we need to get some rain today. That's the power we have, right? Some plants not growing properly, we speak to the plant. These are the things, I mean, people who grow plants know that, right? The same way Jesus spoke to the fig tree and killed the fig tree, we can speak to the fig tree and make the fig tree fruitful. That's the level, right? So the little things that we're trying to figure out and frustrated about, what AI will do, it will force us to have to come out, reveal the true nature of, especially the sons of God. As you know, one scripture that says, the earth is groaning to see the exposure, the revelation of the sons of God, the manifestation of the sons of God. In other words, what the earth know what the sons of God are like and should be like and could do, but the sons of God don't know. So it's like somebody knowing your potential and you don't know your own potential. So that's what's happening. So somehow we have to get to the place of creating stuff that are beyond this normal thing that we see as a basic thing of people having an illness, and the only way they can get help with the illness is to depend on a medication, not realizing that we can speak to the illness. That's the level we are at. So those are Those are what we call baby stuff. Those are the foundational stuff. And then get to the level of saying, okay, going into communities and say, okay, there is too much, whether harm or danger or something happening in a community. Okay, this needs to change. And the people getting together, coming together and agreeing this has to change. And God in his wisdom has put those things in place for us. Any two or three agree as touching anything on earth shall be done for us by our Father in heaven. So it's like he's giving us access, power. He empowers us to get it done. Things like these are real to God. We have to make it real for us. So in mentoring people, we have to get them to understand, even though AI might be taking certain jobs, there are certain things that you could do, create and produce beyond what AI could do. But because you haven't dealt with the preliminary basic stuff yet, you can't think that way, that you can create other things and build other things. Not only that, you are the one who come up with the idea to tell the AI, okay, I want something that could do X, Y, Z. That's where human beings literally meet. Not necessarily the ones doing this stuff only, but also the ones coming up with the idea or the creativity to produce this stuff and design the AI, your robot, which is really, as I tell people, it's a tool, it's a slave to do your thing for you, right? However, one of the dominant fields that AI cannot replace, or it will be very difficult to replace, are the fields of trade. Very, very difficult for AI to replace the fields of trade. The plumbing trade and the mason trade and the electrician trade. Very, very difficult. All right? That's the kind of thing. Now, what you could do, though, is that you could produce what you call self-made stuff already. So what could happen is that, yes, you could go to the area of where you say you measure out your kitchen. You're going to put on a sink, all the different trimmings and the pipes and so forth. You measure it out. Okay, this is the size the kitchen want to be. I want 2 sinks. I want this kind of hose. I want this kind of dispenser, all the different things. And you send it to an AI factory and it creates everything. You bring it and you put it in. That could happen. But water has to run. And water does burst pipe. Pipe does rust. You understand? Things just get stiff. Problems just happen, right? And therefore we need plumbers still. And take that to any other area. You'll always have somebody that you will need at another level. Lower level, higher level, different areas. It's just we have to get them to think that, understand that you are more than just what the people around you say, or more than just what your parents saw you do and say, okay, he'll be a good whatever that is. But to say that you could create it, you could be the one to say, I want to create a particular kind of sink doing XYZ, or a particular kind of pipe that shapes this way and does this, or a particular kind of machine. You are the one to come up with it and give it to the AI to build for you, or to create for you. The device, whatever it is, machinery, the clothes, you name it, the transportation, right? Whatever it is, the entertainment center, any of it. So creativity will increase and improve with the presence of AI if people start thinking that way as creators, dominators, innovators.
So then I think what I kind of getting in a sense is that AI is now taking us from just that state of where regurgitation, where we just used to maybe learn sort of like not really thinking but just doing. And now it's sort of pushing the envelope of what we really should be as people who have been created to dominate and created to be like our creator. So it taken away those low level. I wouldn't say low level, like if the task is not important, but that is not all you were. Like maybe there was a time when you thought that all it was watching a TV. and the information coming to you through these satellites or the TV, and you just have to watch this show at 8 o'clock, that show at 9 o'clock, next show at 10 o'clock. But now, you know, you could watch any show anytime. You are your own TV station now. So now it's a matter of it just, as I say, pushing the envelope. So it's not really taking anything. It's just maybe letting you know what really there is inside of you, which is an interesting way to see things. And the challenge is not everybody able with that kind of change management. That whole change need to be managed. I don't know if you had any thoughts around this whole managing change in the face of AI, if you want to share any little. I know you would have maybe spoken about it a little bit, but if you could delve a little bit more into that, because it seems to be very significant. That whole idea of change and managing change and etc.
Well, yeah, one of the biggest challenge we will have with it is, you know, there's this old saying, being set in your own ways, or sometimes people say, people used to say, old trees hard to bend. You know, that is something that a lot of people have to make an adjustment with. The Alvin Toffler, who is what they call a futurist, he writes a lot of books. Years ago, I can't remember how long he wrote this book. He wrote this statement. He said, "The future doesn't belong to those who can read or write, but those who can learn, unlearn, and relearn." So in the old days, your expertise or your excellence or your development was based upon if you could read and write. Foundation only. If you have to be able to read and write, yes, but you must be able to learn. You have to be able to unlearn certain things and relearn other things. So change, which is a lot of people, so the word change management operate more in corporations. But the average person need to think of always, and I sometimes I try to encourage my family to do that. Okay, I know we custom doing it this way. Is there a better way to always think? Is there another way or better way to do this? I started to get them to think that way. Always ask the question. Yes, this is what custom washing the clothes. But is this the only way to really wash these clothes? The best way. Is there a better way to get the clothes washed? Is there a better way to manage something that I'm doing or to do something that I'm doing? Is there a better way to go to work or to manage the operations that I'm doing? The studies. Is there a better way to study to get more impact, to remember, to understand, to learn my stuff, and to build on what I'm learning? Is there, always always be asking the question, is there a better way to do this? Is there a faster way, a more efficient, more effective way, a more powerful way, a more beneficial way? Those questions, we have to teach our children and our youth start asking those questions. Always ask. Always, yes, learn what they tell you to do. Always think, okay, make them excellent. They say I'm great. Is there a better way that I don't know, I'm not aware of? So what you do is that you build up the habit of embracing change. So when somebody come out with another way, or the AI give you some other solutions, or something else to produce, say, okay, wait a minute, that way, let me check and see what happens. Now there might be experimentation, which a lot of people use to discover, but we're discovering, right? What we have to do now is to be able to now go to another level now of change. I would say change management, but culture, having a culture of change is another level now. We have to now be able to go to discern, is this change right? Is this the right change? So we could test different things. Which change, which adoption, which strategy, which new method is really the right one? Because I could only know what I've tried, what I've tested, or what somebody have tested and shared with me, and they got benefit of. But then because our time frame which we have tested something is limited, we don't really know where it leads to. if it leads to something destructive, something addictive, something harmful. We only know that over time. But we could find out from God, who knows the future, is this really the right change we should pursue? In that sense, in that vein, I always try to bring this statement that Paul says, everything is lawful for me, but not everything is beneficial. In other words, I could experiment with everything, I could try everything, I could try anything, but not everything is beneficial, not everything is helpful. So the question is, what is helpful? Which one is more beneficial? And that's why we need God's input. And that's going now to a level of the major skill to learn in the era of AI. Major skill, the number one skill. I'm wondering if they call it a skill. I'm trying to find another word for it. I don't think a skill. It could be number one practice, habit, gift, something like that. The number one thing to learn in the area of AI, in this era where using AI, adopting AI technology, transforms almost all different areas of life. The more thing we have to learn to do is to hear from God. Number one thing. Can you hear from God? The one who knows all things. Because the noise will be bursting with sound. All different options. Attractive options that will take you, excite you, mesmerize you, amaze you, and get you flowing. That it will look good and sound good and even working good, but not necessarily good. Not necessarily right. It can even be good, but not right. It can be good, but not right. That's what I really want to say. It could be good, but not right. So not everything that is lawful, that might be okay, is really beneficial, helpful, because we don't know the end. We don't know how long, where it will turn or end up in a ditch or end up in a challenge. Not a way. Until we find somebody who knows the future, because AI don't know the future. Only know what now. It only predict on what the intelligence is for artificial and what it has learned from before, but it doesn't know the future. Right? It's not accurate, but God is always accurate. So the number one skill is learning to hear from God for yourself. So that changes now, as good as they are, you'll be able to make the right change.
So it's interesting that we started off with a conversation about intelligence and artificial, and which seems very nuts and bolts-ish. And we've come this interesting full circle to managing change, which is like the soft type of skill and the culture of change, to now swing again to these spiritual things and understanding that in the midst of change, you have so many things coming at you. And how do you discern what is the best? Where they have all these options, and then you would need a different level of intelligence now that knows all things, which moves you into the mind of Christ and the Spirit of God. So it's interesting that we were able to make that sort of like that nice, seamless, full circle back to God, who knows all things, and which you have said that sort of helped you to keep, which is your anchor as you navigate this interesting space. And so for the person who wants to sort of like to feel a little more equipped to move into what is coming, like what sort of like suggestions would you have for them on how to make the step to start to make that step confidently? Because I know you talk about mentorship, etc.
Well, one of the things is to take this step. What I would tell people is, okay, what are your concerns? First I'll do is ask questions. What are your concerns? What do you want to do? What are challenges that you want to resolve? And based upon that context, I will share the answers to that. Okay, based upon that, of the answer, because that person needs or what they desire, what they're looking for might be from somebody else. Even though I might have the truth, but how do I share it? How do I bring it to that person? Be different. So, but basically, the principles are the same. So, based upon what and the principles will be based upon what you're going through, based on what you're facing, based upon what you want to experience, and the problems you want to solve. One of the things you have to realize is that you were sent here, you were created and sent here by God for a specific purpose. And you were sent at a specific timing. God knew all these things were going to be wrong when you get this age. He knew all of that. And he knew that the world here needed you to be present here to do something specific. That you have to be able to be able to accept that, believe that, and know that you're not here by chance. You're not a mistake. You were sent here by God. God knew you before you were even in your mother's womb. You had an interaction with him. And what you have to now learn is why did God send me here? Why did God allow me to be born then? And you have to find that. So we go through the process of discovering that. Secondly, you get to understand that who is this person that God has sent? Or what first thing? Well, of course, we're learning now more than just who, but what is mankind? Why God sent mankind and a who? Not just you only, but mankind, all mankind. What is this man, this human being? So we get to go back to Genesis chapter 1 and discover what this human being is. And then go to like Psalms 82 that talks about ye are gods and children of the Most High. And we go to I think Psalms 8 that talks about what is man that you are mindful of him, that you have made him a little lower than God, than Elohim, and you've given him power over the works of your hands, over the birds. You've given the authority, reiterating Genesis chapter 1, 26 to 28. Giving the person this understanding of this is what a human being is. And then coming to the level of, yes, we messed up, but once you return, coming as a child of God, growing into a son of God, once you believe now in Jesus Christ, you're coming into this new realm, back into something that you didn't know about. But really and truly, something inside you knew about it, but you're not aware of that. How powerful you are. That this planet needed you. Because there is something that you have to do here and now before you leave. And then bringing that person to now grow to discover this thing of, and of course I bring different words, different terms that we use in scripture: ambassadors, kings, royalty. Get them to realize that what the world teaches about the perspective of man and the perspective of who you are based upon what you have, what you drive, what you look like, where you were born, that perspective is corrupt. So it's like somebody looking into a glasses that is only seeing everything red. His glass is not clear. But when you look at it now from God's perspective, there are all these things related to you that you have inside, but you have to bring it out. So we teach them how to bring that out. How do you bring out that richness, that royalty, that ambassadorship, that kingship, that power that is now in you when you come to Christ, when you come back to your Creator, when you come back to God, and now become His son? How do you bring that out to rule this planet, to dominate, to take charge? How do you do that? That's the process. In that process now, we now show them the specific thing that you were created to do. That is your work. And in that work, which we Ephesians talk about, we are gods, workmanship created in Christ Jesus to perform good work, which were predestined in advance, which was done in advance, was prepared in advance for us. So God prepared this thing for this person to do. So we have to show them that there is something for you to do here. And in that, the things that everybody running after, the house, the car, the money, whatever, those things are inside of that assignment process, given to you, attracted to you. They come to you because you are pursuing the assignment. You are going after why you were created. Right? You're doing that. While you're doing that, things are provided, things are supplied. So we show them the opposite, where everybody's running to try to get these things and frustrated and being ruled by AI, being ruled by systems, being addictive, being under the system, as they say, pressured. But now you, when you discover this assignment and you're pursuing it, using the system that he has put in place, the things are added and given to you. People start paying you. People start giving you gifts, start sharing things with you. You start getting results that you want to know, where did that come from? How come this person gave me this favor? And in the process, as you are learning to overcome different steps. In just like how we do exams from one class to another, you have to learn to overcome this test or steps or this class to go to another class. So in the process of the person becoming that expert, that professional, that solution to the earth, the process requires them to go through different levels of steps. And each step, they're exams, right? Most people want the certificate at the end. People don't really want it to the exam. They really want the certificate, right? But the exams are required in order to go to the next step, because I don't think you want to give a standard one child standard 5 work and say, because you are now standard 1, we're making you prefect of the school and be in charge. You want to know what in the world you're doing, because that person haven't proven anything that they could really handle that work. So you're giving them too much. So you get to show them the value of tests, the value of challenges, the value of going through different obstacles and overcoming them. So they embrace the challenge, they embrace the obstacles, they embrace what happens. Say, okay, so this is another test, this is another challenge. Okay, so when I overcome this, I'm going to another level. It's not a bad thing. I remember I was in school. One of the things one or two of my teachers to do is that we wouldn't wait for the teacher to give us tests. When this class is in chapter 4 or whatever, we're in chapter 5 or 6. We go in chapter 5 or 6, do the work, in the back of the book, and give the teacher. We finish chapter 4 a long time. I give the teacher the work on that. In other words, we're not waiting for the teacher to tell us what to do. We're going to the level beyond what the teacher doing. We're doing what the teacher wants and go beyond that. That's how we operate in school. It's the same way you get into reality. Wait a minute. Also, if I could pass, if I could do this and do that, get that done, right? Go to that level. So they embrace change. They embrace the challenges that come, right? Willing to override it. But we are showing them, using the principles that Christ teach, how to overcome the different obstacles. These obstacles could be man-made. Of course, we know the spiritual element behind the obstacles. We know the kingdom of darkness is working. We know that because we are in God's will or God's purpose, God allows the things, and there's some things that he disallows. There are things that get thrown at us that God said, no, not that one yet. He's not ready for that yet, or she's not ready for that. There are things that there that God put us from. But the fact that it meets me, it means God approve of it and say, okay, this one, that person can handle it. The fact that it reached me. So now the person is learning now how to also overcome levels in the expertise or the giftings or the solution or the purpose God has given them. They might start at this level, but what God has shown them is level 10. But to get to level 10, they are level 1. But to go from level 1 to level 2, there are certain challenges that will come, right? So they're growing from They're going, there's a teaching that God taught the Hebrews, teaching the children precept upon precept, line upon line. That system allows people to embrace different levels of challenges. It means because they have challenges in the office or on the job or in the school, they go and ask if they can help. You teach them that. Go and find out how you can help. When there's a problem in the school, there's a problem in the environment, problem in the home, find out how you can help. What you're doing is that you're not running from the challenge. You're going to embrace what is needed for this. How can we fix this? How can we help with this? What needs to be done here? So the attitude is one of a bold, confident individual who recognize that they have resources inside that is more than people are seeing. And even with the AI technology, they get to understand what is inside of them is beyond that. AI, as powerful as it is, what is inside of it is better than it, is more powerful than that. But they're learning how to use it, how to move from one step to the other. So that's the process that I will use to mentor and to train and to teach and to guide. Right? So they develop a different kind of individual. And that's just from individual now to family life, to community life, to national life. They use the same principles. All right.
Yes, it's quite different. Different only because it's not the same old, same old. It's a different type of product in terms of a human being that you now generated to face the future. Because if you were depending on yourself only to do things, you realize the way the world is going, it is less of you and your human strength that is required in a sense. It's going to be more who you are in terms of how God sees you and your purpose. You're getting pushed in that way. And so what I get through these steps is that you already training a person to see through a different lens so that they don't get threatened by this tool. You don't get threatened by a hammer. You put the hammer in perspective. So, or a computer or any other tool, because I mean, we're talking about AI intelligence now, but something else could pop up tomorrow. And the thing is, those are principles that you trying to teach, which would stand any sort of circumstance until the Lord comes. Yes. So it was quite a wide ranging. I mean, we know it was started off in particular way with the AI, but indeed it was wide ranging and holistic and purposeful, with that key reminder to hear from God. So that's a nice place to end, but I know you would want people to be able to contact you further. So any contacts you'd like to share this time?
Yes, definitely. We will put a link in the description where people could book appointments with me. Presently, I have some people requesting to me to come and do some presentations. I have one in Tobago next week. So that will keep coming, but that will keep coming. But the link will be in the description. People could book an appointment. My calendar is there. Where once there's a slot free, you just book and you could meet with me, and then we can discuss how I can help. Whether it's a school, whether it's an organization, the Facebook page, my LinkedIn, everything will be in the description of this video. My number 299-7723. People will contact me, and of course my email address kevinsandy@gmail.com. Presently, that's personal. My personal email. Use that to contact me, and that's basically those ways. And as I said, I'll put them in the description so that people could contact me when they need help or want to get guidance, whether corporately or individually. All right. Yeah.
Right, great.
Really
And
good.
you could just say the phone contact one more time for persons who might just need a little time to write as, just
Okay,
in case.
sure. 868-1-868-299-7723. 7723.
Oh, so
All
we
right.
want to thank Mr. Kevin Sandy for really sharing from his heart and taking us on this journey on the front end, which was on AI, but on the back end is really purpose, the purpose-driven life. And he would have shared his various contacts where the conversation could take place, because one of the interesting things from what he was sharing at the towards the end of the podcast was that it's really a kind of individual consultation as to where you are at. And so we look forward to other, I wouldn't want to call it difficult conversation, but in-depth conversations around pertinent and prominent issues. Thank you very much,
Well,
Mr. Kevin Sandy.
well, thank you very much, Miss Alberta, Miss Alberta Alexander, Mrs. Alexander. I really want to thank you as a scientist yourself, and I know based upon your expertise as a scientist, you go deep and you really research questions because of your research background. And this is really, I'm really thankful that you were able to do this, because it's important to get the people who have learned and who are out there impacting the society. And I think you're the president of is what the Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean
Academy of
Science
Sciences,
Academy,
Trinidad and Tobago chapter.
Trinidad
Caribbean
and Tobago
Academy
chapter.
of Sciences, Trinidad and Tobago chapter. Yes.
Right. So as the president of that chapter and of the science, as in the scientist world, you all know the importance of information and how information impacts how people live, different things in life. So it's very important that you, somebody like you, able to do this. And I'm really thankful for this. It means that if I'm able to help somebody like you in your area, I hope I was helpful, some things, and how you could also use AI to help you, even in your science projects or projects in the world of science in the Caribbean, the different things that we're producing. So two major things that have been produced right now are chatbots and agents. And those two major things allow people to answer questions, get answers to questions. Like as a scientist, they can answer, the chatbot could answer questions about a specific area. So you have a chatbot that's targeted just to a specific area of science. And you have agents that you could have figuring out how to actually produce a result that a PhD student will try to figure out in 5 years. But you have an agent that you can build to figure out how to create this item in science in maybe a few days. So that's something that is coming, that is affecting the world of science, right? So that's the kind of thing. And people study this, study in depth, do in-depth studies to get their PhDs, because they're trying to produce something different. And here you have now an agent built for you. You could build your own agent or have your own agent built for you to figure out how to create something. It impacts the academic world. It means the production of or the, I should say, the accomplishment of a PhD student or doctorate is now wondering, is it really that valuable because of you can have an AI to figure out how to get it done, right? So this, I mean, there's so many different areas it impacts, right? But you all could use it now to be even further, because you're already at a higher level. It means there are things that you want to discover that somebody on the ground don't want to know, but it impacts them, but they're not aware of it. But you're aware of it, and you having an AI agent could create something now that can help solve a problem on the ground that people are not aware of that it could be solved at all. So that's so important. That is why one of the aim that I have is to create a what do you call a AI automation agency, and that's an agency that produces AI bots or AI agents to solve problems. But of course, as I said before, they must come with some basic mandates, some basic presets, which is we have the humans, things like that. And there are others that are coming. But I really want to thank you, Mrs. Alexander. I really want to thank you for this. And I hope that somehow we'll be able to work together in some projects in the future.
Okay, so thanks very much to all the viewers, all those who would tune in to the podcast, and we look forward to seeing you all learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Hey, wonderful. Thank you very much.